Choices being made inside of Facebook are disastrous for our children, for our public safety, for our privacy, and for our democracy. It is about Facebook choosing to grow at all costs, becoming an almost $1 trillion company by buying its profits with our safety. In the end, the buck stops with Mark. If he is the CEO and the chairman of Facebook, he is responsible for those decisions.
Facebook whistleblower Frances Haugen testifying on Capitol Hill yesterday. The data scientist accusing the company of putting profits ahead of public safety. CEO Mark Zuckerberg responding, calling her arguments illogical. And joining us now is Monica Bickert. She's Vice President of Content Policy for Facebook. Thanks for joining us, Monica. I just want to read from Mark's statement. He said, the argument that we deliberately push content that makes people angry for profit is deeply illogical. We make money from ads, and advertisers consistently tell us they don't want their ads next to harmful or angry content. One of the big issues has been, for a while, the issue of the algorithm, and is Facebook going to be willing to provide some transparency, let people see how the algorithm is put together?
Absolutely. In fact, and first for those who aren't super familiar with the word algorithm and what it means, when you use Facebook in newsfeed, we rank the content from the friends and family you've chosen to follow, the pages and groups you've chosen to follow, because there is so much content that we want people to be able to see what's most relevant to them. And people have asked us over the years if we can be more transparent about the decisions that go into that ranking. And so we have. And in fact, as recently as a couple weeks ago, we published in our Transparency Center a set of content distribution guidelines that explain, for instance, the types of content that we demote. We demote engagement bait, clickbait, sensationalist content. And much like Mark said in his memo, that is designed to give people a better experience. It is in our business interest to make this a place that people will want to return to for years to come.
Yeah, wow. So,
but I should say, people can always turn the algorithm off if they want to. They can see content in reverse chronological order if they want.
But if you're going to allow outsiders to look at the algorithm, that's like throwing open the hood and allowing people to look inside. As a private company, you would allow, as a publicly traded company, you would allow that to happen.
What we explain in our Transparency Center is the types of content that we reduce the distribution of and the types of content that we recommend or promote. So it's not quite the same thing as showing the ones and zeros that the engineers write. I'm not an engineer. That wouldn't mean anything to me. It probably wouldn't mean anything to most of the public. But we are clear about how we do the ranking.
Yeah, Monica, I want to go back to this outage on Monday. I know what the company has said, but there is a report that we have not confirmed, by the way, about more than 1 billion users of Facebook had their private information leaked back about toward the end of September. A, is that true? And B, can you deny that ransomware had anything to do with Monday's 7-hour outage?
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint, but as I'm not an engineer, I don't have any information on the outage itself. And with regard to our privacy, what I can tell you is, I'm not aware of what you're referring to. I can tell you that we report quarterly to the FTC on what we're doing around privacy, and those reports are made by an independent assessor. So any privacy issues are being reported on by that independent assessor in those quarterly reports.
There's a lot of headlines that came out of the hearing yesterday where the whistleblower was testifying. Let's just put them up there. That Facebook knows Instagram is toxic for teen girls, that Facebook tried to make its platform a healthier place and it got angrier instead, and that Facebook hobbled Mark Zuckerberg's bid to get America vaccinated. So a lot of that came out yesterday. And, this is a woman who had only worked at the company for 2 years. She said she was disturbed by what she had seen. She did not work on child safety issues herself, but this was something that she thought should come forward. What do you think of her as a whistleblower? Do you think she is credible? Or do you think that perhaps this was all planned, that when she came to the company, she wanted to do this in the first place?
Well, I can't speculate on her motives, but I can say she didn't work on these issues, and her testifying about them and mischaracterizing some of the documents she stole is like if a journalist were to read another journalist's story, a colleague's story, and say, oh, I'm an expert on this. I mean, she's not an expert in these areas. These are not areas that she worked on at Facebook. I have been at the company for more than 9 years. I do work on these issues. My background is in child safety. I'm also a mother who raised 2 girls. And the people who work on our team include teachers, former child safety prosecutors, a former rape crisis counselor, a woman who spent 30 years in countering gender-based violence. I mean, these are the sorts of experts that we bring to Facebook because they care so deeply about these issues. And on the research that has been mischaracterized, you know, two things here. One is the research largely showed that teens have a positive experience when they are dealing with mental health issues, as many teens are. Instagram is a place that helps them find support. And on 12 issues that we asked both boys and girls about who were already struggling with mental health issues, the majority of them said that Instagram either made things better or it didn't materially affect them.
I know the research says that. I think that a lot of parents
having a bad experience, that's
Yeah.
too many, and we want to fix that. But that's why we do the research.
Yeah. Well, that research, making it available for everybody to see. I think a lot of parents feel like social media is not helping, but we take your point, and we thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you.